my friend, whether he wants to admit it or not, Ben McDonald. He is the founder and managing partner. My friend, thank you so much for Destination Wealth Advisor. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Although, when the week I'm gone, you jump up 20 subscribers, I don't know if we're going to be friends or if I'm going to get invited back. Right? There's a correlation. If it's negative when I'm here and positive when I'm not,
Well,
this may be my last day.
We started last week by me begging for people
Okay, all
to
right.
play. So Chuck was telling me you got to ask. Right?
I'll see what I can do.
Anyways, so Ben, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I
thank
really
you.
do appreciate it. There's a reason why we choose the co-hosts that we do. It's because we're looking for people that are the real deal, know what they're doing, and when they say something, we believe it, and Ben McDonald fits that bill well. Ben, remind everybody what Destination Wealth Advisors actually is.
Yep. So we're a wealth management firm, and what that means is we do comprehensive investment planning. So we'll manage people's portfolios, we'll do financial plans, we'll do tax strategizing, we'll do estate planning, we do insurance or protection. We want to have experts on your team in each gambit of your financial situation.
And so for me, as a small business broker, my background, my experience is small business people.
Yeah.
And so your association with small business people is just pristine. I mean, when they come to you with these problems, these challenges that you're looking or they're looking to have solved, right? And you don't say, I got the answer. You say, I got the resources to answer those questions.
Yeah. Well, in my old life, when I was an advisor at Edward Jones, I was the guy wearing all the hats, and I had to be the person that had the answer for everything. And you can't do that, right? Every single aspect gets watered down. So when I was designing this firm, I wanted to go the opposite. I wanted the advisors and planners in the company to be able to pull the experts in so the clients are always working with the person they need to be talking to.
And so how did you come up with this? Because honestly, it wasn't until I met you that it's sort of like a bell rang, like, that's a good idea. Why didn't somebody
What a novel concept.
You actually want to help my clients. You know?
Yep. I think a lot of it has to do with my coaching background of coaching college and high school basketball, just understanding how different people are fitting into different teams and how you can empower people and provide a better experience when everybody's working together. And so I will get away a couple times a year, go into the mountains completely by myself and do planning sessions where I'll just read and write and be by myself. And this design of what this looks like came from one of those sessions a couple years ago.
So you just described the one thing that makes you unique and endearing to me. You are this strategic-minded, thoughtful, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional business thinker, right? Like I watch you think and plan ahead and then intentionally put that into action, right? I've seen that with you over the years, right? Yep. Where did that come from? You mentioned coaching. Is that what it is?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's happened for most of my life. I remember being 13, 14 years old, and I would have an exact plan of what things were going to look like going down the road. And so part of it's innate, and then a lot of it is just at-bats, right? You get reps over and over, and you get better at being more intentional and being strategic. And so I get people a lot of times now, because of how quickly we've grown, where they'll say, did you imagine it was ever going to be like this? And I've got it written down in notebooks that this was going to happen. And that part is really interesting to see. Whereas if I didn't have all these reps and at-bats from over the years, I don't think that would happen, right? It wouldn't all come to fruition.
Right.
So
And so I happen to know some of your partners and advisors and accountants and other resources that you have.
Yep.
Bringing those kind of, what's the word I want to use? Heavy hitters, if I can do that, right?
Yeah.
Together. That's not easy. Talk about that, right? Because we all kind of want to, everybody wants to be Joe. You understand that, don't you, Ben, right? Not everybody can be Joe, Ben. You understand that?
So
I make this look easy.
So as we were, a few months ago, we brought a Merrill Lynch team on that basically doubled our size of our business. And as we were going through meetings of trying to figure this out, right, going through negotiations and conversations of what it would look like, Adam Boatsman, who's the managing partner of BGW CPA, we're partners and work together on clients. he stopped everybody mid-conversation, said, if we can do the rest of this conversation by throwing away our egos and understanding that we can all win better together, we're going to be successful. And that was a big flip of the switch. And so now, as we go, there's still headaches that come up, but everybody knows their roles and responsibilities. People are coming to me, and my job is to take problems off of people's shoulders and plates so they can do what they're supposed to do. And that's just been the way that it's worked, is we put the ego aside. We know we're all going to do better together than we would separately. And so when situations come up, it's candid communication. It's us being able to respect each other and have a conversation and work through things without something blowing up or somebody's ego getting too big and so they can't listen to anybody else.
I'm curious, how do you do that? Is it a weekly conversation, monthly? What does that look like?
Yep.
for those of us that want specifics?
Yeah, so we use the EOS system, the Entrepreneur Organizational System, I think it's called, or structure. But essentially, we have different meeting cadences. So we have an all-hands meeting once a month, and that is every employee in the company. So everybody knows at least what's going on. They can weigh in, and they can feel heard, right? And a lot of times that doesn't happen because the leaders, and then they're just telling everybody else what to do. So we do a monthly cadence of that. We do a monthly cadence of a leadership meeting where we just go off-site for a few hours and go through anything that needs to happen. And then the week by week are one-on-ones that I'm having with different key employees.
And that really has value because if I'm using you, right, I'm your client, I know that if one of your other skilled people has an idea or concept or investment, you're going to know about it just as well.
You got it. Yep, exactly. Because if one person is doing something, we want to be able to support each other so everybody can be giving the ideal experience to our clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's go straight to your article.
Yep.
Okay, let's do that. So what is it you want to talk about, buddy?
Yeah, so the article is called What Would Be the 10-Star Experience and Beyond. But this
10-star, not 5-star.
Yeah,
10
that's right.
Star. Okay.
But if you just look up Airbnb 10-star experience, 11-star experience, things like that, it will pop up. It's gotten more and more popular. I first heard it on the Masters of Scale podcast, which is Reid Hoffman. He's the co-founder of LinkedIn. When he had Brian Chesky on, who's the CEO and co-founder of Airbnb.
Right.
And the thing that I wanted to really share about this that I think is extremely valuable to the business owners and leaders listening is this is a thought topic or thought process that you can do in the company with your other leaders.
Right.
And so what they did in Airbnb, as they were trying to design what an ideal experience would look like was, all right, you get 1 through 5 stars. That's what they can rate us online.
Interesting.
Right? A 1-star experience is you show up and you try and get in and everything's locked and you have no access or somebody else is already in there, right? It's just a terrible experience. 4 or 5-star experiences, you get what you expect, right? You show up, they let you in, there's towels, there's just like basic things. It's just, you're not going to brag about it.
The pictures are what I thought
exactly.
it would be. Right.
Yep. And that's a 4 or 5-star experience and that's great. They're like, okay, well, what would a 6 or 7-star experience be? Okay, maybe there's a surfboard in there with a note saying, "Hey, I know you like to surf. Enjoy your time here." Or there's food packed in the fridge already that says it's on us. Whatever. It's just something up and beyond. And then they kept going. They're like, all right, what would a 10-star experience be? And it would be Brian Chesky calls it the Beatles entrance. And so it's like, all right, we're gonna pick you up with a private jet. We're gonna fly you there. You're gonna get off the jet, and there's gonna be bands playing, and there's gonna be a parade that takes you to your Airbnb.
Right. Hooray! Joe is here to stay in my house. Right.
Just an absolute obnoxious experience. And they're like, an 11-star experience is Elon Musk picks you up and takes you to outer space in a rocket ship. Right? Like, eventually,
we thought for lunch we'd eat in space.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what they found was when you go to the 9, 10, 11-star experience and start describing so outrageous experiences, when you go back to 7 or 8, they don't seem impossible. You can make those things happen, even though normally you would just think a 1 through 5 scale.
That's interesting.
So that's the part is we put ourselves in our own boxes, right? It's like, okay, what's a 1-star experience? What's a 5-star experience? And we stop there. And so those are our limitations. And if you stretch yourself and you get so far outside of the box, you're just stretching what's actually possible with the experience for your clients and customers. So
interesting.
So I love that process, and it's difficult for people to do because you're so entrenched in the same mindset, same thought process, the echo chamber of your industry, right? All of those things over and over and over, that you have to get so far away. So that's the thing I really like about it. My sister and brother-in-law that run the Savannah Bananas, they do something similar. They do an Idea Palooza, where all of their employees, not all now because they're too big, but most of their employees get in a room and they start throwing out ideas up on the whiteboard of what they could do during a baseball game. And whenever somebody mentions something that is just an average, normal, boring thing, they'll have like Nerf balls or something and just throw it at them. And they create an environment that's so outrageous that it makes people think differently. And I don't think that happens nearly enough in small businesses.
And most of the time, what I see, Ben, people are afraid to speak because they're afraid to fail. Yeah. They're afraid to come up with that bad idea. They're afraid what other people think.
That's a great point. And I think that's on the leader, right? If the leaders are creating the culture where the employees are afraid to fail, the company is going to fail, right? I want my employees to fail. I want them to be trying so hard to create such a good experience that they're going to throw out an idea that is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We're going to learn from it. We're going to get better. And eventually, we're just going to keep improving the experience to the point where it doesn't look anything like our competitors.
Well, you know, and this reminded me of years ago when I was teaching Julie, and, you know, she would make a mistake and something like that. She'd be really upset because she's a perfectionist. She wants to be absolute. Let me be clear. Everybody needs a Julie, right? So I would finally get to the point where I'd say, whoa. Just say oops and move on.
Yes.
It's over with.
Yes.
I don't think twice about it. And what you're really trying to do is empower them to take responsibility and control of tricky, problematic situations. And so if they're so afraid to fail or make a mistake, or you're going to beat them over the head if they make that mistake, there's no way they're stepping outside.
Nope. No, not at all. And that I see it a lot when I'm working with small businesses, especially, that I think everybody is too close, right, to the point where it's a small team. So if somebody fails, it becomes very obvious that, hey, this person made the mistake. And that's the part that anybody listening that's a business owner, small business leader, needs to make sure they're working on to change. So that would be the big thing I'd take away.
Now,